What's up, guys? I'm here today with Taylor from Shadowboxing.
That's me.
How's it going, Taylor?
Good, man. Very excited to be here.
Yeah, thanks for being on.
Yeah, for real. I've always wanted to play Howl and Mouse.
It's a cool venue. I like it a lot.
Yeah, I remember I was going to college over in Weston.
Oh, yeah.
And so Coheed played up here one night. And so, dude, got to see Coheed right in that room right there. And so as soon as we got the call to play here, I was like, cancel everything.
Yeah,
You know.
now you get to play in the same venue as Coheed. and
Exactly.
A lot
Yeah.
of
And
other big
it's
names
the first
play.
time I heard Balance and Composure right
Okay.
here and the Weeks and stuff like that. So,
Yeah,
man,
yeah.
I love this room. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah, it's an awesome place. Tons of history. A good sound system.
Yeah.
Always brings out a good crowd.
Yeah, they got the JBLs in here ripping.
Yeah,
dude.
let's go. Sweet.
Yeah, man.
So, in Shadowboxing, you play guitar and sing.
Yeah, so I'm rhythm guitar and sing, vocals.
Okay, sweet.
Mm-hmm.
So, you have a very cool looking pedal board. Usually we start
Especially
with
for a
guitars.
rhythm player.
Exactly.
Right.
I'm intrigued what you're using here as a rhythm player. If you mind,
Yeah.
don't mind talking about it? Walk
Yeah,
us through
sure.
it.
Okay, in shadowboxing, we got a big three, right? And so those big three are Manchester Orchestra, right? All Get Out, and As Cities Burn,
Okay.
right? And so because we started off from scratch, like not really diving into the pedal world, and so we just started watching other rig rundowns, like what are our heroes using and stuff like that.
Mhm.
And I think over time, like that all started. We'll go through Signal Chain later, but like
Sure,
that all
sure.
started with
Nah,
this
I'm
guy
cool.
here, the 1981, right?
Yeah.
The DRV, and so you can see like my lead guitar player plays one too, and it was the first like click on time to run pedal I've ever had.
Okay.
Like it's more than an overdrive.
Yeah.
I think technically it is like a take on the Rat, but there's like a boost signal in there too, so it just makes it throw out front. And so we really started there, just trying to develop gain stages, but when I started looking at people like Andy Hole's board from Manchester, it was so simplified. It was a gain stage and it was a reverb. And so that's when I was like, okay, let's get into reverbs.
Yeah.
And I kind of went a little crazy with reverbs.
Okay.
But here, we'll get there.
Yeah.
I guess through the Signal Chain, a Decimator 2, but I'm very aesthetic, right? And I don't know if you've ever seen the newer Star Wars, Captain Phasma.
Yeah,
I was
yeah,
like, dude, that
clone-
looks like a clone
clone trooper.
trooper,
Yeah.
And so I was like, I gotta have that, and that's actually the same Decimator that Cody from As Cities Burn plays.
Okay.
And so I was like, I have to have that specific, Decimator. I mean, any would do, right?
This one it has an iconic look. Like I knew what
It
that
does.
was out of like the corner of my eye.
Exactly. And some of the newer ones look cool. I know there's like a ton of like nano decimators, right? But who cares, man? I mean, it's big, it's chunky, and it gets the job done
Yeah.
super well. It is a little fidgety because it is so old. Like I think this is
Oh, yeah.
like a earlier 2000s model, but whatever. Yeah,
Yeah, that's
works.
fine. It does its job.
Yeah, and then the last thing I wanted to do is pay $100 and something for a tuner. So I found this dingy chromatic tuner with a bunch
Yeah.
of Sharpie and stuff all over it for $15. And so
Really?
it has like a beautiful story because it looks like some kid just like got this and drew all over it with Sharpie and stuff. And that was just at a Guitar Center one day. And yeah.
That's awesome. I've never seen one of those for $15.
Yeah, I mean, it's got a crack in it and stuff, but dude, it's a tuner.
Right,
Like,
yeah.
and so this is so stupid, but like I tried to tell a story, because there's a million different pedals out there, but like, can I find like this one that has a little backstory to it, But yeah, so Decimator into the tuner, and from there I'm running through this. This is actually a Pog 3.
Oh,
Sorry,
really?
no, sorry, this is a Pog 2.
Okay.
I got it in a trade for I had a Fender Duosonic.
Yeah.
And I really liked it. It was short scale, but it just kind of laid around.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't clean enough to be a studio guitar, and it wasn't hot enough to be a stage guitar.
Yeah,
And
I
so
get that.
so I traded it for this Pog and a couple $100. And when I got it, it was destroyed. Like, how some people will put tape on their
Yeah,
pedals?
yeah.
You could tell they put like painter's tape on it. When they peeled it off, the graphic came off because all that EHX stuff is
Right.
painted on. And so last summer I just sanded it down, and painted her.
That's crazy.
Painted
I
her pink.
would thought this was like some kind of boutique pedal,
Yeah.
like with like fancy art. But
Sure.
you did that.
Yeah, well, so I did the pink and I
Yeah.
did the lettering,
Yeah.
right? Because I kind of wanted it small and in a certain fashion. Like, did the I wanted the Roman numerals, and I made up my own little, ATT for attack, LPF for low pass filter and stuff like that. But my fiance is an artist, and she when we first met, it was probably in the first week, right? She has this big giant noggin. right? And I used to say that she's like, girl, you got the biggest head I've ever seen. So I started calling her a pineapple princess because she had this big giant pineapple head.
Yeah.
And so, being the artist that she is, one day she left me a note and she drew that exact graphic, and it was in a little Mead, notebook.
Yeah.
Yeah, jeez. A little Mead notebook, and I have that notebook, and I wrote our first EP. A lot of the stuff that I wrote was in that
Nice.
notebook, and so when I was looking for art to put on there, I that's what I wanted. That's what I found, and so
Yeah.
that's actually my fiance Natalie and her big pineapple princess head on there, and I think it's beautiful.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And going back to that, like, I want all my pedals to tell a story, and so when I look down at that and know,
That's a really good
it's
story.
a one of one.
It's super sentimental. That's
Yeah,
awesome. I appreciate that.
Yeah, for sure. So the idea from the POG comes from our big three, like As Cities Burn.
Okay.
Cody, he talked about, like, well, when we don't have a bass player, just run the POG, right? And we use a good bit of octave and stuff on our EP, so I'm filling in that gap. From there, I originally, let me think, I was running a Crayon from
Yeah.
Electro Harmonics just to have our clean isn't very super
Yeah.
clean. It's not polished. And so I wanted a little grit in my clean.
Yeah.
But then I found the 1981 level.
Okay.
And so which is a low gain overdrive,
Okay.
right? So it's like, it's clean, but if you attack it, it'll break up slightly, And so I actually used the 1981 OVL as my clean.
Nice.
So it's a clean boost. I got it just enough where, like, if I really rip on it, it'll break for a second.
Yeah.
I just like having that control
Yeah.
over it because playing to the Jazzmaster, it is a little spanky, And so if I can turn that spank into grit,
Yeah. When it gets to the spank, it starts overdriving a little bit instead.
yeah, exactly.
That makes sense.
Yeah, it feels nice.
Yeah.
And then back to that 1981 DRV, like, that is my top gain. This is like, let's kick the door open.
Yeah.
Everything is running. And so with the 81 LVL, right, and the 81 DRV, and then just start shoving that POG through it, things just start, just the room expands, And so that really falls into the later half of my board, where a lot of the stuff I do is more pad.
Yeah.
Like, I'm trying to just create this huge, saturated, dirty pad, because my band, they're very good. They can play without me, and so they don't need me there ripping the whole time. So if I can just make this huge sound for them,
Yeah.
I think I'm really doing my job. Yeah, and so a signal chain from there, from the 81, I'm going into a Cloudburst. This Cloudburst I actually found at Eastside Music Supply
Okay.
in Nashville. And if you check those guys out,
Yeah,
they're
yeah.
they're awesome. And I went in there wanting to stack reverbs, because after some online research, I'm like, what does a rhythm guy play? They're like, well, have 3 gain stages and then start stacking modulation. And I'm not a huge fan of, like, chorus and vibrato and all that stuff, because I think our band, is kind of tight. Like, we don't really have a lot of jam type elements,
sense.
And so I was like, all right, let's stack reverbs. One of my favorite guitar players, Julian Baker, stack reverbs. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. And so I went in there looking for a reverb. I tried some JHS reverbs. I think Old Blood Noise is so iconic. So in my heart of hearts, I really wanted an Old Blood Noise reverb or a Walrus. But I plugged in that Cloudburst and I started, playing through our set. And I was like, I can hear this on so many of our songs, because the Cloudburst has this mezzo piano. Have you ever messed with the Cloudburst?
No, I haven't.
So the mezzo piano function on it, it's not a digital, what do they call it? It's an ambient reverb. And so it's kind of worshipy almost.
Yeah.
And the mezzo piano basically makes a string section behind wherever you play, and there's zero latency.
Okay.
Zero latency lag, right? And so I use it there, but then I wanted to expand upon it, and so I learned that Strymon makes a multi-switcher where you can set 3 different presets on the Cloudburst, and through the multi-switcher, I can basically use it as, so like my C switch here, that's my hall, and it's a little more ambient than a traditional hall, but making pad, right?
Yeah.
So what's wrong with being ambient? And so my C is my hall, my B is that mezzo piano where everything just kind of expands and bursts. And it doesn't sound digital, like, because it doesn't just pick up the first note. It kind of chooses where at in that note it wants to add that string section. So it doesn't feel fake.
Yeah.
It's insane.
A little bit like variance, not like robotic precision.
Yeah. And then my A is more of a twinkly reverb. I probably use it the least. Just because it's a lot, you know.
Fair
it's
enough.
a lot, and I have a high gain guy, so why am I getting into his space? You know what I mean?
Fair enough.
Yeah. So I stay away from it a lot. Sometimes I'll accidentally knock it on and like, oh crap, let me switch real fast. But yeah. So if you know, and I honestly I felt a little ashamed buying a Strymon pedal because, like, going back to that idea of like I'm trying to make something unique here.
Yeah.
But that just showed me how good that pedal actually is.
Yeah.
Where like it's so good I'm buying it even though I don't want it.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Yeah.
It's literally the craziest pedal I've ever played.
Nice.
Like I didn't know pedals could do that. Like it's insane. So
Yeah.
yeah, I definitely encourage anyone to go check out the Strymon Cloudburst because it's not a Big Sky. A lot of people think it's a smaller Big Sky, but it's not.
That's
It
what I
does-
would have guessed by the color.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
You know, me too. And so, and then yeah, it has that mezzo piano, and then it has this forte, and so the mezzo piano is more of a tamed version of that like symphony, or so
Okay.
that string section behind it, and that forte will just go crazy, man. And you can freaking modulate all of it, of course, and then tone it up. So like, are you wanting the lower end of your frequency to shine through with that string section, or are you wanting the higher? It's just
That's cool.
serious. Like this is pretty. Everything over here is pretty. This is a game changer.
That makes sense.
This is like give me the 81 DRV and give me the Cloudburst, and we can play every shadowboxing song.
Nice. So
Ever.
this is the core, right?
This is
here.
the core. This
Okay.
is the nucleus of my pedal. And then, but yeah, so yeah, going back to that, like people look at the board and they're like, dude, for a rhythm player, you have so many
Yeah.
pedals. Well, I'm trying to build pad in the same way you build gain stages. I'm trying to build modulation stages as well. That way, at any moment, you know, like if we go through a 16 bar chorus, right? At any moment, I can keep pushing it and keep pushing it and keep pushing it and keep pushing it and never hit the ceiling, right? And so that's really the idea behind that. But yeah, the Cloudburst is insane. We can talk about it all day. So from the Cloudburst into the Old Blood Noise Darkstar. Now the Darkstar does a lot. It's a really freaky reverb. I've only had it for about a month now.
Okay.
Same spot. I go to Nashville a good bit,
I get it.
and so same spot, Eastside Music Supply. And I wanted the Darkstar stereo. They didn't have them in, so I picked this guy up. And I really found that the only thing that I like here, drop down for a second.
Yeah.
It has a this crush mode,
Okay.
which is like it's a bit crushed reverb.
Whoa.
Yeah,
Okay.
and so like essentially it's a big hall, and then on the end of that hall it just fizzles and crushes. And I'm
That's
like,
cool.
oh my God.
Yeah.
And so when I start cranking that mezzo piano through it, I got this big string section, right? And I mean, and strings are so beautiful and pretty, but then like when I want it to be nasty, I can hit this and crush all that down, and it just creates this insane like. I mean, I think they do call the Darkstar like a sci-fi reverb kind of situation,
makes
like the
sense. Yeah,
Darkstar and
yeah.
the Procession, and so like it just does something different and very unique. And I haven't even began to unravel what's really going on in there. But as far as right now, like on our big choruses, like we have a song called The Jacket. On our big final chorus, when I'm just basically playing like big open bar chords, and I want that to push through and crush and get weird and freaky, that's the guy I run to. And so
Very nice.
I'm sure if we do another one of these, I'll probably have a lot more to say about that guy. But right now, that's where I'm at. And it has a cool mix on there too.
Yeah.
The only thing I think, if I could say anything negative about it, it feels like it has a boost somewhere,
Oh.
and it doesn't have any type of control on that.
No dip switches inside or
No,
anything.
no, and so it does kind of boost you up. I'm sure, I mean, did you see the freaking manual on it? I'm sure I'll find it, and it's beautiful.
Yeah, it's
you
a
know?
cool looking pedal.
Yeah, it's got this like cool raven-haired girl. Like it tells a story. Like it might not. I mean, for somebody, that artwork tells just as much of a story as this artwork does
true.
for me. You know,
That's true.
and so I like that. I like it's got the mystique and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, from there, this guy isn't even actually plugged in right now. This is a Black Fountain, right? It's an oil can delay.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and so I had gotten an argument with our bass player about delay and how much I hate delay, and he encouraged me to go and do a lot of research on delay. And out of everything I found online, I really like the Black Fountain, and Old Blood Noise just released this. This is a Black Fountain stereo. In any shape or fashion, like I had a Juliana,
Yeah.
The Juliana has a stereo output. I really like the idea of playing a stereo, especially with the mezzo piano and the Cloudburst, right? If I can throw that sound around, that sounded awesome. And so the fact that I was like, okay, add a delay to the board, and they're like, hey, it can be stereo as well. Okay, stereo delay sounds freaking awesome. And so I haven't, dove too much into this guy, but that's the Eastside Music Supply colorway. Like you can only get this.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, Old Blood made that specifically for them.
That's cool.
Yeah, so
I do
getting
have
there.
to say, overall, this might be the coolest looking pedal board that's
Yeah.
been on the show yet.
Yeah,
Like, it's-
cool, man.
I think you might have that crown.
Yeah, thank you. The only reason why it's unplugged is because I don't have an isolated power supply, so I'm running
Yeah.
the DC brick, and it makes it squeal right now. I think it's pulling like the wrong ohms or amperage or whatever,
Yeah.
and so as soon as I go there and get it isolated, it'll be back on there, because we're working on a new song that we'll actually demo tonight. That
Okay.
I just throw it on there and it starts pinging off, and even if it's not even in stereo, it'll start like playing undertones in stereo, kind of faking it. And so yeah, it's sick. And so you can control each side, the timing of each side, the left timing and the right timing. So you can
that's
go
sick.
like quarter notes and whatever on the left, and then whatever on the right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So and it's got 3 presets. So we're recording a record starting in November, and
Nice.
so I think we're going to see a lot of that guy
Okay.
on there.
Nice. I'm excited
Yeah.
to hear it.
Yeah, so I mean, the antithesis of my board technically is like build gain stages and then build reverb modulation stages.
Fair
And
enough.
so, but I get picked on all the time. It's like, I've never met a rhythm player with such a big pedal board.
Well, when you said you're making a pad, that made a lot of sense.
Yeah,
to
that's
me.
what it is.
Yeah.
I'm making a pad, and not in a pad in the sense of that can change with the gain stages.
Yeah.
In the same way that you're moving from here's our cleans and our mids and our highs.
Yeah.
And so I've really learned to make it work for me, because
what
it
you-
actually makes a lot less work on me, because the entire time I'm singing. So I can just
Fair
hit one note and like this big giant pad rolls out. So, but yeah, man, that's pretty much me for now. I'm sure, it's an investment, and I'm sure things will change out, but definitely the 2 that'll be on there for the length of, my band is that 1981 DRV and that Cloudburst. I just can't get away from it.
Makes sense. Like you said, it's the core.
It's the core. And I guess that I'll keep that guy.
Yeah,
for
you
too.
can. You can.
Yeah. I feel bad stepping on him. Like,
Yeah, put like a cover over it so you
yeah.
don't step on the.
Dude, that
switches.
thing has, I swear on my life, that thing has like 30 clear coats.
Like,
Yeah,
nice,
like 2
yeah,
weeks.
Protected.
Go put like two clear coats on it, and then like, right when I get home from work, go ahead and put clear coats. So, because I
I
really
mean,
want
that'll
to
keep it
that
safe, and
before.
also that's probably a lot of why it looks so professional. Like I really thought that was something you could buy.
Oh, yeah.
Like, looking like that,
Yeah, I mean, I'll sell it to you, but
No,
I'm
no,
joking. I'm
you need
joking.
to keep that. You need
I'm
to keep
joking.
that.
Man. But yeah.
So people are starting to filter in.
Sure.
Would you like to go to that room back there and do guitars if we can?
Yeah, man.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So tell me about your guitar here.
Yeah, so this is a Ventera 1, right? The Ventera 1's got the matching headstock.
that. I like
Yeah.
that a lot.
Before this guitar, I was playing a Tele.
Okay.
It was a plus stop. Actually, it was November of 2019,
Okay.
because that's when I decided I want to like start getting back into music. I did a lot of singer-songwriter stuff, and I met Brian, and we kind of like hit it off as far as like bands that we like and stuff like that, and just started talking. And we were really into Pine Grove at the time, right? And so we were doing some more singer-songwriter type stuff, and Brian picked up guitar. He's actually a piano player. He doesn't give himself enough credit. He's a beautiful piano player. And it's like all off the top of his head. It's insane. It's like
Nice.
watching a madman work. And but yeah, so picked up guitar again. I have a little Martin acoustic, and we played a few shows, just him and I. We didn't have, I think we might have had the Shadowbox. We did. We had the Shadowboxing name by then. We made some buttons, played a little First Saturday in Bay St. Louis, and had a lot of fun. But as that kind of grew, I've been singer-songwriter for so long. As that kind of grew, Brian had these, his 2 cousins, Jared and Sean Kozlowski, and he's like, these guys are killers, like you have to, work with them, because they have families and stuff. But I was like, let's do it. Let's start a band. Let's start a full-fledged band. And so I needed an electric guitar, because I was listening to Pine Grove at the time, but my loves were still the Wonder Years and, Microwave and Manchester Orchestra, and Brian and I found All Get Out together around that same time. So like, okay, I need an electric guitar. 2019, there's a hurricane, because we're from Biloxi. There's a hurricane, and so my fiance freaking hates hurricanes. She lived through Katrina, right, living right there in Bay St. Louis. So anytime anything pops up, we head north. And my really, really good friend I met from college lives in Gluckstadt.
Yeah.
And so actually, went up to his house. So let's go by Guitar Center, And so went to Guitar Center, found a Tele. It was this like beautiful blue. It might have been like a Placid or like a Pelham, whatever they call it, blue. Yeah. And same style of Tele that Julian Baker plays. Yeah. And so I was like, dude, this is awesome. This is so sick, And so I started talking to my fiance. I was like, it was $600. I wish a Tele was $600 now. It's not. So I was like, I need this Tele. She's like, well, sleep on it, and I was trying to be a good, adult. And so I slept on it, and we went the next day, and it was gone. Yeah. I was like, okay, what other Teles do you have for $600? And they're like, well, we have, in the back, we got this plus top Tele. I was like, okay, let me see it. And they bring this thing out, and it's like PRS Tiger Stripe kind of thing, and
on a Tele.
Which is cool. Yeah. It was like a limited edition. Okay. I don't know what anniversary was that? 75th or something that was around then? I can't remember, but it was some like limited edition, and I was like $600. Who cares? It's literally just so I can get back into guitar. Yeah. I had 0 pedals at the time, right? I didn't even have an amp. I literally didn't even have an amp. I sold all of that. I was only doing acoustic stuff. I was like, okay, whatever. I don't care what it looks like. It's $600. I can afford it. Swipe the Guitar Center credit card, or at that time, sign up for the Guitar Center credit card. And I brought it home, and everybody around me was like, that's the ugliest guitar. It was the sweetest playing guitar. Man. I mean, if when you get a Tele dialed in and it's so loud acoustically, you know what I'm talking about? Yeah. Like, it was like out the box, just perfect. But go back to my pedal board, aesthetics, are kind of a big thing, and I always been when people ask me about like how can they start playing guitar, I'm like, well, buy a guitar you like, because when you see it, you want to play it. That type of mantra. I was like, okay, I gotta get rid of this thing. If like everybody hates it, I'm convincing myself it's ugly. I guess it's really been ugly for them to start, and so sold it on Facebook, $500. So okay, I got $500. I'll start saving up. I'll get a new Tele. But then at the time, our bass player, he had a Troy Van Leeuwen Jazzmaster. Nice. And I was like, dude, that thing is insane. Of course you can't buy the same guitar as your boy. That's blasphemous, But so that was in the back of my mind. Had a friend, it's part of the same story, I swear. Okay. Had a friend who was having a birthday. He wanted to go out to the casinos, kind of what you do on the coast. Got to the casinos. I had $500 cash sitting in my drawer. So I grabbed $100. Like, okay, let's go. Well, he is like an aficionado in craps. Okay. Right? And so while we're in there, he's showing me how to play craps. And dude, I put in, give him my $100, and we just start playing craps. And by the end of the night, I turned my 100 into $600 playing craps. Okay. So I'm bringing home 600, right? So, took 100 with me. I was like, I got $1,000. I'm buying a Jazzmaster. Yeah. Like I'm buying a Jazzmaster. I don't care where I have to go. And so we had like a free weekend coming up, and I called my cousins that live in Baton Rouge, because like Baton Rouge is a pretty good central point for a lot of guitar stores. Yeah. There's not a lot of stuff over in Biloxi, not really a lot of stuff over in Mobile besides a Guitar Center. And so I called them up. I was like, hey, I'm coming this weekend. I got a mission. I got $1,000 of play money, and dude, I'll drop $500 of my own money. I don't even care. I was like, we're finding a guitar. And so I just started looking on Facebook, because LSU's over there. There's some really cool Jazzmasters. Started looking Guitar Center. They had a few. They don't do a lot of high-end Jazzmasters. But in Lafayette, they actually had Lafayette Music. I called them. I was like, you have any Jazzmasters? Like, dude, we have too many. But they're like, please come get one. Okay. Yeah, and so showed up, and the Ventera 2 had just come out. Right, and so the Ventera ones had dropped in price. They were like $990 or something like that, and so I showed up. They had a bunch of Ventera 2s. They had this guy, and then they had they did a version of the Jazzmaster that did not have this style of trim. It had a Strat style, right? And I know a lot of people love those. Like a lot of guys are looking for workhorses, because Jazzmaster trim. And I liked it, but it felt blasphemous, Yeah. Like, why, just buy a Strat, dude. you know. And so I sat down with the Ventera 2s, but I wrapped my hand around this giant baseball bat neck that the Ventera 1 has, dude.
Pretty one too.
Yeah.
Some nice maple figuring in there.
I mean, I don't know anything about that, but I'll take your
It looks
advice.
good.
Yeah. And I don't have super big hands, you know,
Yeah.
but I like, because I play my Martin acoustic, and
Yeah.
it has that same kind of, you know, you play a song with too many bar chords, like my freaking thumb's about to fall off. And so, like, I love that. Like,
Yeah.
it felt the same. They could translate. And matching headstock, which wasn't chipped at the time. And so I just had to have it. You know,
Yeah.
of course, every guitar player I knew was like, "Are you sure? Like, are you sure about a Jazzmaster?" I was like, "I'll make it work, dude. I'll make it work." And so, yeah, picked up this guy. I've loved it from this. Okay, when I first got it, the luthier actually wasn't in the store, so he didn't set it up for me. And so I brought it home, and the action was super high. You know, I was very used to playing a Tele, which is a little tighter. It was definitely that Tele was a maple fretboard, so like this is actually the Palfiero. I know a lot of people don't like that, but same. I think with that parchment style, the Palfiero doesn't look too bad.
No, I think it looks
you
good.
know?
I dare the people who hate it
Sure.
to do like a blind test and get it right every time.
They don't.
They
It's
won't.
it's tradition.
Yeah.
But the thing too, like, and I understand that, but I think Fender is tradition as well. So I can't really talk too bad about them. You know,
Right.
Fender's very traditional colorways, and so I definitely understand it. But I was looking for a guitar to go and rip up on stage no
Yeah.
matter what. So yeah, picked her up, played her for a little while. The first thing to go was definitely fret buzz.
Okay.
So I brought it to a didn't do that. I ordered a shim off Stu Mac.
Yeah.
Right? And
Nice,
so
nice.
I shimmed her myself, and then fret buzz was still a little crazy. You know, I tried to work on it myself and
Yeah.
figure out what the heck was going on, but I just really couldn't do it. So I brought it to a luthier over there in Bay St. Louis. Things like Bonafide guitars.
Okay.
And he did some work on it for me. It came back better, but I think the only thing is he kind of flatted these bottom frets. You see how flat they are?
They are very flat.
Yeah, so, but I don't play
Not
down
much
there too
left.
much anyway.
Yeah, fair enough.
So- and so-
I know a lot of times they'll make these lower
Yeah.
than these because that's where you're going to get more buzz.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Ski slope, they call it.
Yeah, and it had that traditional Fender bridge on it, and so the first thing I did, I kind of changed it out for whatever. I don't know. Do you know what that style of bridge is called? Like a barrel bridge or something like that?
I would have called it a Jazzmaster bridge.
Sure.
No, I'm not,
Sure.
I'm afraid I'm not
Well, it had that
knowledgeable.
old, because I think this is modeled after a 50s.
Okay.
Might be a 60s. The Ventera 1 might be a 60s, the Ventera 2 might be a 50s. But it had that, Fender will do like, this is basically a screw with a screw
Yeah,
through
yeah,
it. And my E string, because I do play 11s, my E string kept slipping, and so I threw that guy on there.
You say you play 11s in standard tuning? Or-
In standard. Standard and drop D.
Okay.
Yeah. Because my lead makes fun of me all the time because he's like, you're supposed to be in the mids, but I think you're in the mid lows, man. And like every time, and he's right. So I like a beefier string.
Yeah.
I think it just makes me. It lets me know I'm hitting the string. You know what I'm saying?
Well, you said you came from acoustics too. So,
yeah, exactly.
Makes sense.
Yeah. My entire life just playing on that Martin and
Yeah.
old, Ibanez and stuff. So, yeah, that felt nice. It was very loud.
Mm-hmm.
Like as far as what do they call it, 60 cycle hum or whatever.
Yeah.
Super noisy. And so last summer I actually foiled the entire inside.
Oh, nice.
And did all the work myself. I'm gonna tell myself it did something, just because it took me 8 hours to do that and a bunch of cuts in my fingers,
Yeah.
But it might not have. But it's been a love,
Yeah.
because I don't mind taking it apart,
Yeah.
and I don't mind working on it, and I don't mind because it teaches me something new, and I don't think like a Tele kind of doesn't do that because it's a slab and it works
Yeah.
all the time.
Very
you know?
utilitarian.
Yeah, exactly. And a lot of guitar guys, they want it to work right every time you pick it up, but I don't have kids, and
Yeah,
it's just like
you've got time to
yeah.
learn to fix it.
Yeah, exactly.
That makes sense.
And so, and every guy you bring it to, I know you're a luthier, no offense, but like every guy you bring it to, all they did was sit there and break stuff until they figured out how it worked, right? Am I
Right, no,
wrong?
that's how you learn
yeah.
anything.
And so I just sit here and mess with it, and it's been great ever since.
Nice.
Like even our last show, like it was going out of tune, but whatever, tune.
Yeah.
It's
Exactly. You've
bu-
got tuners. So
yeah, tune it up. If it's buzzing, dude, just freaking let it buzz that night. You played a real buzzy set that night. Who cares?
I've never
Yeah.
had anyone come after a set and be like, "Man, your guitar was
It's
buzzing.
buzzing."
Just killed the whole
Yeah.
set."
Yeah.
No one says that.
Now, all that being said, I do not record on this guitar.
Okay.
Yeah, I do not record on this guitar. I actually, I was recording on that Duosonic, right? And then I actually, when we were up in Nashville, when I got those 2 pedals, I bought a $600 Strat. It's a Player One Strat with a maple fretboard. Just because with this next record, we are going to do more live amps and stuff. But as far as making demos, we use the Neural DSP Morgan a lot.
Sure.
And it really likes taking a clean single coil. And so I feel like a Strat is a nice spanky, single coil.
Yeah.
You can't get a Tele for less than $1,000 now. I don't know.
It's just crazy to me.
Yeah. So if the Strat is the redheaded stepchild, I'm fine with that.
Fair enough.
Yeah. So Strat for the recording of our next
Okay.
record mostly, but live, this girl will be with me all the time. Yeah.
I love this guitar, and like its story involves hurricanes and casinos. This is such a Gulf Coast guitar. I love that.
Sure. Yeah. Thanks, man. I mean, it's just something special about it. It's got a lot of stuff going for it, even though it is like an off-the-shelf
Nothing
guitar.
wrong with that.
Yeah. And as far as that guy, we were talking about that earlier.
Yeah.
I didn't know that happened until I saw pictures of our set. Yeah, I got back home and I was uploading pictures of our set to Instagram.
Yeah.
And I'm such a freaking sociopath, I'm like, oh, do I look cool? My guitar look cool? And I noticed that, and I the only thing I can assume, because I did it in practice one day, is when I turned, I hit it on the mic, and I do faintly remember maybe hitting it on the mic.
Yeah.
And so, and then I definitely know this one happened because I hit it on the mic, because I watched it happen. Yeah. And I've thought about repainting it, but because it's not like janky enough where it looks cool yet. You know what I mean?
It's got to start somewhere.
It's got to start
right?
somewhere.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
Like it's there, but it's still kind of just like an eyesore. It's not just like, that's sick. Look at that, aged guitar or whatever
I
they
think
call it.
I think it's sick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I appreciate
you. Get my
you.
vote that way.
Yeah, I appreciate you, dude. But yeah, I love it, man. It's loud, it's in charge, and it's taught me more about working on guitars, and it's taught me a lot more about caring for guitars and like, coming closer to your instrument, not just a tool. It's actually a relationship there. So
Yeah.
yeah, man, I really like it a lot.
Super cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks for going over it.
Yeah, for sure.
Anything we've missed? This guitar? Any of your other guitars you want to talk about real quick? Or?
No, like I said, the Strat's here, but it's just in case I pop a string. There's not really special going on. Nothing's changed on it. It's just I picked it up in a little, mom and pop type guitar shop, and
Cool.
I'm sure I'll use it for a long time. Yeah.
Final question. Favorite pick?
My favorite pick, dude, I'm a story guy. We could talk about picks. All right, here we go.
Okay. Let's do
All right.
it. Let's do it.
I was going to Mississippi State at the time.
Okay.
There was this weird, like, it wasn't dirt cheap, but it's kind of like a fancy dirt cheap. And I stumbled in there one day, and they had a giant set of these, like, really, like, silly hot rod design picks.
Nice.
And I want to say that they are Tortex. Who makes Tortex?
Dunlop?
Dunlop, yeah. So they're Dunlop Tortexes. They're made for some dude that does like rockabilly
Nice.
music,
Yeah,
and his
yeah,
name's on
yeah.
the sticker on the box, but on the picks themselves. And they're all these, and it was like it's like a tackle box. There was 300 picks in it, 300 Tortex picks, and they're like a 1.0 and then the 7.3. And so I use the 7.3s of the Tortex. We actually just got the Dario shadowboxing picks.
Oh, sick.
And it's that 7.3, 7.5.
Yeah.
And so I've been using this guy just so I can kind of like give one out when I'm
Yeah.
over. But yeah, me and Brian definitely like the 7.3s. The ones are kind of heavy. And so I like the Darios. They've been cool.
Yeah.
And I really, of course, dude, it was like $15-$20
Yeah.
for that little box.
The
So
whole rockabilly tackle box.
it's insane.
Yeah.
I would never need a pick. It kind of hurt my feelings because when I go into guitar stores now, I don't even look at picks.
Yeah.
Like dude, there's a
You got
whole
it settled.
there's a whole end cap there that I don't even get to enjoy window shopping
Mhm.
because I will never need it ever again, And so we just bought some shadowboxing picks just so I could look at some. But yeah,
Cool.
yeah. So
Nice.
7.3, 7.5. I think that's medium.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Solid choice.
Yeah, it's good.
Sweet.
Yeah, man.
Well, thanks for going over everything.
Yeah,
Appreciate
that's
it.
it.
I'm looking forward to your set tonight.
Yeah, dude. Me
Sweet.
too, brother.
Appreciate it.
I hope we kill it out there.
You will.
Yeah.
You will. In Hal and Mal's.
Yeah.
All right. And now I'm here with Brian, who plays lead guitar for Shadowboxing. How you doing, Brian?
Good. Isaac, right?
Yeah, Isaac.
Awesome,
nice.
dude. Sweet.
Well, tell us about your stuff.
Okay,
you got
so
here?
so Yeah, I was a little hesitant to do this. Taylor was like, "Hey, do you want to do a rig rundown?" And I'm like, "Yeah, that'd be awesome. I'll watch rig rundowns all the
Yeah.
time. I love them.
They're
Like,
so good.
yeah, they are the best. So to find a local one, sweet, and so cool that you're doing this, man.
Appreciate that.
Yeah. Anyways, so why I said it'd be like weird for me is because I'm by nature a keyboard player.
You're saying that, yeah.
Yeah. So I started playing music with keys. And then guitar is virtually pretty new for me.
Okay.
I met Taylor back like in around COVID.
Okay.
So COVID happened and I was like, I need something to do.
Yeah.
So I went to a pawn shop, bought like a $100 Squire Bullet Strat, it's a Bullet Series, you know, and just got to work on that, had a lot of fun on it, and then next thing you know, you're just kind of like, this happens, you know. But for the most part, my cousin. My cousin is a big time guitar player and really talented, and I always admired his ability. So I would always like, hey, what do you know? He had a ton of guitars, and once I got into it, I was like just going to him for everything. And he used to be a bass player for us. He's got too busy. Luckily we got Alex. It's awesome. But essentially, a lot of this gear is his.
Okay.
Because I don't have the time or money to do this, and he's just like, man, you're moving, you're grooving. He's like, please use my stuff. He's not playing right now. He's like, please use my stuff. He's like, it needs to be in good use. He's like, I trust you.
Right.
And so I've kind of fallen in love with a lot of his gear. But some of these things are mine, and some of these things are his. And I'm trying to slowly make it to where it's all mine. He won't let me buy certain things, like the guitar, which we'll talk about later.
Okay.
Yeah. I try to buy stuff off from him that I really like, and some things is like, you can play it all you want. That's mine.
Okay.
so,
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Cool. So first, yeah, we just have a Polytune, it's just standard tuner.
Yeah.
You know, everyone needs one. You got to have it. You
Yep.
know, and then this Decimator is his, and me and him are both huge fans. Both of our favorite bands are local. They're based out of Louisiana. A band called As Cities Burn.
Okay.
Like love them to death. Like those guys are like ethos of like why we play music or the tones we
Nice.
chase sometimes. Like
Yeah.
and they have like 30 plus, 40 plus thousand strong fans. Not a huge following. They were signed to like Tooth and Nail record back in the day, back when like Under Oath was really popping off, and so he has a rig rundown himself where he he explains all this stuff, and the Decimator along with some other pedals we'll get to we're on his board, and so when we've been chasing that tone.
Yeah.
So we and that's not for tone. That is literally because of some other things we'll talk about later.
Yeah.
That's there so things don't get so haywire because some of these pedals kind of get crazy.
Yeah.
And then next is the JHS Reverb. It's the the series that the $100 pedals, or he's just trying to make it accessible for everybody to make good quality pedals for a good price for people. And again during COVID, just like Josh is awesome. Josh is from Jackson.
Okay.
The guy who made these pedals and started.
Oh yeah.
It's from It's from Jackson, and so it was cool that I found out he was from Jackson. He worked out at Tupelo for a while too. Super cool show he does on YouTube.
Yeah,
If you're not following, you should go and check him out. He's awesome. They got great production. They do good work, and I think he's just an awesome guy. And so this is actually a pedal that is mine. The first pedal that's mine on the board, because these two are my cousins, and then this reverb is mine because Taylor owed me some money, and he was like, "Why don't you just take the reverb pedal?" And we just put the little Goku-san on there because we're both like big DBZ fans, and I was like,
Nice.
"I gotta have it." Like, just the print that we put on there, the little custom print was like awesome. So I was like, "Yeah, I'll definitely take that off of you, just so I can have my own reverb." Because we move on to the next reverb pedal here is the Big Sky, and this is my cousin's like pride and joy. We were big Vermilion Lakes fans. They're based out of Vermilion Lakes, California. And some other bands, obviously, that Notorious. This is a very notorious pedal. A lot of people have it if they're looking for that tone, a big shoegaze kind of tone for a lot of people. But us, we just like, for us, it was like Julian Baker, trying to capture like what Julian does with the reverb, because we think it's just so like the perfect reverb she has between that. Her voice is obviously the game changer with her. But yeah, we got the Big Sky. I am not a pedal connoisseur. I'm not an electronics connoisseur. If anything, I'm like push button, hit button. Hopefully it works and makes a cool sound.
Yeah.
So this thing does way more than I am like can even like fathom.
Mm-hmm.
My cousin and someone like Alex, our bass player, could really dive into something like this. But for me, I just found like 3 presets that really work for our sound, and I save them on the A, B, and C, and I basically make it a 3 reverb. It's a 3 series reverb for me.
Yep.
It could do so much more than that,
Right.
but I'm just too dumb to know what to do with it. So it's awesome.
Yeah.
And then we'll move on to the Haunt, which I recently just purchased because I don't know, I didn't have a fuzz, and I was like, I want a fuzz. I just want to try it out,
Yeah.
and figure it
Why
out.
not?
So Old Blood Noise is another person. They're awesome, and he used to run this show called Coffee and Riffs.
Okay.
I don't know if you're familiar
I
with
haven't
it.
seen that one, no.
It doesn't. They stopped doing it, but there's backlogged a million videos. The guy from Old Blood Noise would do these coffee and riffs, and he'd have these different musicians from different bands, and they would essentially drink coffee or beer or whatever. And it just started with him like in his living room with like all the pedals that he's creating and stuff, and then it
Nice.
turned into something bigger.
Yeah.
And so I've like watched a ton of his videos, and so I was like, I gotta have an Old Blood Noise pedal. So it's like one of the first pedals that I'm gonna purchase. Actually from like a dealer or something. I was like, I gotta get an Old Blood Noise pedal, and I was like, I wanted a fuzz. The guy who mixed and mastered our EP is a huge fuzz head, and so just talking with him about it a little bit, I was like, I gotta get a fuzz, so I'm gonna go with Old Blood Noise. I got the Haunt. Also, I'm sure Taylor mentioned this. We are huge fans of this band called Manchester Orchestra, and between them and another band called All Get Out, but Manchester has a Haunt on one of their boards that I
Okay.
saw on a rig rundown.
Yeah.
Again, trying to capture sounds from bands that we love, not to play like exactly like them or anything, but just to like take tones to where it feels like our favorite
Yeah.
players, So that's where that came from. Moving on to the Overdrive here. This is my pedal that I purchased recently, again on Reverb. Got it from a guy from a fairly good price. It is a Overdrive it has a built-in compressor here. If you're up, I think you're compressed. If you're down, you're not. And
Okay.
so it has that built-in, which I think is a sweet feature. Because I don't have a compressor pedal, and it's basically built into a pedal. So if I can just keep it on, I'm trying to keep it on. It can compress, my signal chain. So this is also another pedal that these last 2 pedals here are both pedals that Cody Bonnet from As Cities Burn is on his board, and that's where I'm like, what's his tone? And I'll never be the player he is. He is an insanely great player, and I'm just starting essentially in the first few years of my guitar playing. Had a lot of fun, but again, chasing the dreams, chasing the tone of my heroes. He uses that for his OV, and the next on the board is the pride and joy of my board. You could take everything else off the board, everything else away from me. If I could just play this 1981. This 81, which I'm sure Taylor has on his board, talked about. The guy from Reliant K made it. And he has this in a level, but this pedal is also on Cody Bonnet from As Cities Burn's board, and it is like the nastiest, gnarliest rat clone of all time with a built-in boost. So it's just like when you click it on, it makes you feel awesome. Like it's so gnarly. No matter what setting, like I've changed the drive to high drive, low drive, move the cut all over the place, moving the volume down for different gain stages, and it really, no matter where you set it, sounds unique and awesome. So I really love that. I really love that pedal.
Taylor said basically the same thing, by the way. He's like, if I could leave one thing on my board. So,
Yeah, that pedal is like, it just makes you feel like you're good at guitar.
Yeah.
And so that, and I have a looper, which also not mine, it's my cousin's. Is the looper. I use that just for practice originally.
Yeah.
I don't do any looping on stage. I'm not. I don't trust myself enough to do that. So
Right.
like
That's
I'll
tricky.
loop that for practice and from writing something.
Yeah.
And then Taylor actually put this on my board. This is Taylor's, and he just actually put this on my board because he says you need to look more like a guitar player. Okay, so because I like to use my volume knobs.
I do too.
I use my volume knobs, which I think is more like a guitar player.
Yeah, they're there.
I
Why
like
not
using
them?
my volume knobs and my tone knob a lot.
Mhm.
You might see that on stage, me messing with that. And then like one song, I'll like kind of swell this for
Yeah.
Taylor. Really, because
Satisfying.
because he looks over and he sees me using it. That time he gives me like a head nod, and that's good for our friendship.
Yeah,
so,
yeah,
to
yeah.
like use this thing. So I think that's super cool.
Nice.
But yeah, man, that's basically it. Like I said, I'm not very too knowledgeable on all the stuff. I just kind of click, turn until I find things that I like, and I hope that it works out. And the guys seem to like a lot of the tones that I come up with. So cross your fingers that it stays that way. And I'm sure there'd be some more things. Maybe we do this again next year or something.
Yeah.
We're working on a record right now, and I'm sure things will come on and off. And I am trying to slowly replace the pedals that aren't mine with my own pedals.
Yeah, yeah.
And in that time, so the board will definitely look different in a year. But once I find kind of what I like, I don't think I'm gonna be like moving around too much,
Right.
just because like at the end of the day, you're playing guitar, and like it's about your playing and like what you're doing more so than this. This will make you sound like sound awesome and sound like the tone you want, but it's about your playing and what you come up with and like what the muse hits you
Yeah.
with and stuff. So like I think I'm just gonna find my stuff and then I'll just be good to go.
So that's a perfect segue. If you want to talk about your guitar for a second.
Okay,
That was
so-
smooth. That was smooth. I appreciate
Sweet.
that.
Yeah, so this thing is tried and true as like everyone's ever said
Yeah.
about a Telecaster
Right.
of all time. Like, you cannot go wrong
Yeah.
with this. This is not mine. This is. I still
Fair
have.
enough, fair
I
enough.
still own my my pawn shop
Yeah.
Squire, which I dearly love,
Mhm.
and I try to play on stage. But again, Taylor and some other guys in the band, when Jared was in the band, was like, "You're not playing that Bullet Strat on stage. Just play my guitar because I have like 3 of them."
Yeah.
He actually plays on what he has on him right now because he still plays all the time. He just hasn't time to get out on the road too much. He plays a Jazz Master as well. That's just like top of the line kind of guitar for him what he's trying to do. But this is like this Antigua finish that I can't stop getting compliments on,
Super
and
cool.
I can't take any credit for it because this is his guitar. And so like every time someone comes after me after we play, whether they're talking about the music or whatever, sometimes this guitar always comes up and they're like, "Dude, where'd you get that guitar? What is that finish? That is awesome." And I'm like, "It is sick. It is like the nice." He replaced it with this chrome.
That was a good call.
Yeah, he wanted it to match, and it's sweet. But he does have like the original that comes with it that matches the colorway. And I always gotta be like, give credit where credit's due. I was like, this isn't mine. My cousin. This is my cousin's, who's a way better guitar player than me. This is his. He shreds this thing. I try to just like make him proud, like with what we do in our band here. And the stripe is mine. We got a quick green Ernie ball to match. Taylor made some buttons for us.
Nice.
We're both some anime nerds, so there's one of those on there. A Gojo for any fans there. This thing is dirty as all get out. Like last time my cousin saw it was like, "Man, you have been putting this thing through it." And I was like, "Yeah," and I'm not gonna clean it until we're done with this little summer run.
I like that.
And so like this is honestly the last show of our summer run. So
Okay.
we are gonna start cutting the strings off and cleaning the fretboard after the show. We'll probably do that next week and get this thing looking way better. But it's pretty dirty right now and pretty gnarly. So yeah, it's I love this guitar. Going back to what we talked about before, I tried to buy this from him multiple times.
He's not
He
having
will
it.
not budge
Yeah.
on it. And it is like, I think, I could be wrong. I think he said it was like 1 of 500 sold when they came out with them. And so it's kind of like a prize for him as well. You can build this on Custom Shop,
Okay.
but if you build it on
It's gonna
Custom
be,
Shop just with
yeah.
this colorway, just to build a custom telly, it's going to be like $1,300. To do anything like this. And playing a bunch of shows, this came off.
I was gonna ask, do you basically stay on the bridge anyway, or do you
I
move
stay
around?
on the bridge. When we record, I'll move it around.
Yeah.
But for me to cut through, I stay on the bridge, tones all the way up.
Yeah.
And then certain times throughout the set, when I do need to go anywhere, I'll tone it versus moving pickups.
Yeah.
I just honestly, I know a lot of people like playing it. I love playing down here, and honestly, I think in my opinion, like the 81 with this down here is the tone I've been chasing. So 81 tone out here, a little reverb. Make sure the decimator's on so it doesn't just feed back into the atmosphere,
Yeah.
because it can do that. And I have it set so where it does feedback a little to where I can play with it, but not to where it gets insane.
Uncontrollable,
Yeah, uncontrollable. So again, I'm not good enough to control feedback that well. I know some cool bands like Color Revolt was like Mississippi Legends, like when I was growing up. Does such great feedback work.
Yeah.
And if you haven't heard of Color Revolt, they're not a
Mhm.
band anymore, but I would definitely recommend them if you're from Mississippi and you live watching the Jackson Rig rundown. Like there's some Mississippi Legends. If you haven't listened to them, they have great stuff. And so yeah. Anyways, give kudos to those guys. I love those guys. I really do love our local bands like so much whenever they blow up, because they are just so amazing. And
Yeah.
there's something that they're like capturing that's from down here. I guess that's something that I really cling to. but yeah, like I said, we are just chasing, like I've said sometimes,
Yeah.
we're chasing tones of our heroes, but also trying to make something new with the way we play and the songs we create. But yeah, man, that was that's about it. That's my, I guess, my rig rundown of
There you go.
half my stuff, half my cousin's stuff.
Well, that's what you're using for shadowboxing. So
Yeah, that's what we're using for now, and like I said, I'll do a lot of keys and MIDI work on our recordings,
Nice.
and plan to do it in the future. But right now, the guitar is kind of a spot. I've really learned guitar because, not only I've always wanted to, but I just wanted to make myself more available to be in bands.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
keyboard's awesome, and you can do a lot of things and add a lot of layering, but being able to play guitar, it allows you more wiggle room to be able to like pick up and play it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm excited. I would love another member in our band to come on some keys or something, or
Mhm.
vice versa. Now I can play keys and he can play guitar. Like that'd be sweet. Just to add more to our sound.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm just babbling idiot at this point. So cut me
Awesome.
off whenever.
Sweet. Well, yeah, I think we got to get to your bassist, so we'll call it here. Thank you for your time.
Yeah.
Really appreciate it. It was a pleasure.
Thanks,
Yeah.
man. Thanks for all. This is awesome.
And how do we get this far?
Sweet. Now I'm here with Alex on the bass. Alex, how you doing?
Good, man. Good.
Sweet.
Good.
Yeah, well, excited to hear you all tonight. Let's what are we going to be hearing on the bass side?
Okay, so pretty simple.
Yeah.
Got 3 pedals. Number 1, most important pedal is the Polytune.
Yep.
And that's going to keep me in tune and sounding nice. Arguably the only pedal I really need. Number 2 is going to be the Jam Rattler Bass Mark II.
That's
So this is made by a company called Jam, and they're out of Greece.
okay.
And this is their Rattler bass, which is basically a Rat. So
Okay.
like a Turbo Rat or a 1981, kind of like Brian and Taylor both have 1981s on their board.
Yeah.
Those are Rat circuits. This is a Rat circuit that's tailored for bass that has a clean blend here, and what that allows me to do is kind of feed in my original clean unaltered signal into the overdrive, which helps me retain some low end thump.
Yeah.
And not just lose it all. And unfortunately, anytime you're overdriving a bass, you're going to lose a lot of that sub bass frequencies.
Yeah.
So this has really just been
Nice.
it helps me stay a little bit dirty, just not so I'm super clean, but not too dirty.
Yeah.
And still, so it's a perfect pedal for my purposes. And then I have a Walrus Audio Juliana, which is a chorus pedal.
Yep.
And so I use it basically for some clean parts and a few parts in the set that, like the beginning of Bad Intentions
Okay.
and like the beginning of Ard, just some of the more like pretty parts that we do.
Yeah.
I kind of like to feed a little modulation, and why I like this pedal is because this also has a clean blend where I'm able to kind of, if I put it in the middle here, that's going to be just like a full fat chorus pedal. Going to kind of sound like a, not hokey, but that 80s chorus
Yeah,
kind of
yeah,
sound. And so I like to play with it dialed back a little bit, which basically just lets me make it a little more subtle.
Yeah.
So it's not as overbearing of a hokey 80s chorus effect.
Especially since you're on the bass.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I mean, to be honest, most people aren't even going to be listening or hearing what I'm doing on a technical level anyway. Really, I'm just there to fatten everything up. So, and then I've got my Fender P bass with the sparkly sunburst.
Yeah, I like that. That's a cool finish.
Yeah, the sparkly sunburst, man.
Nice. Oh, that's a good sparkle.
Yeah, I had to have it. So, basic run, basic rig, but I also have a Ampeg
Mhm.
Rocket RB210, which is like a little light Ampeg combo bass, but it just sounds freaking awesome.
Nice.
And I got a great deal on it. And it's funny that it's worked perfectly for all the venues we've played. I was like, I don't know if it's going to be loud enough. And man, it rips.
Oh, yeah.
So it sounds freaking awesome. And I just run a DI out most of the time, right in the back of the amp into the mains.
Mhm.
And it just sounds freaking sweet.
Nice.
So yeah, that's basically all I need. So
Yeah.
tuner, drive, chorus, and honestly, I've thought about getting some more pedals, but I was just talking to Casey, our drummer, about it, and I was like, dude, I've thought about getting some more stuff. He's like, well, what do you need? And I'm like, nothing. It's like, all right then.
You've got the expanding pedal board, right? It comes out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like the little Diodario Extend. So what's funny is I play bass for this band, but
I'm also like an acoustic guitar singer songwriter and an electric player.
Yeah.
So I actually use this pedal board
Nice.
for both. So like right now I've got my bass pedal board, but when I'm playing guitar, I've got like a Line 6 DL4, like a delay pedal.
Yeah.
I've got chorus pedals. I've got drive pedals, and so I just use this as kind of like, and I just reconfigure it as I need it for whatever I need it for.
There you go.
And then it just fits into a little bag, and it's good to go.
Super cool and
So,
modular.
yeah.
Also, I had a question about the rad. Like that's what that's called, right?
Yeah,
Did it come with this cool like black whatever?
Yeah,
like,
it's
texture.
Yeah, it's got this. So
That's cool.
yes, I didn't modify this,
Okay.
but they do. So they hand paint all their pedals.
Nice.
And so this pedal is kind of like a special edition of sorts of it, which is kind of silly that I'm just going to be like bringing it to places and drinking beer and then stomping on it, when it's really like it came in this wooden box and it's really kind of a work of art in and of itself, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I just really liked the art, and I really liked the, I don't know what you call that, like the black stucco, like whatever they're
Yeah.
using around it, they kind
That's
of give
cool
it that
looking.
texture.
Mm-hmm.
I just thought it was sick, and so I reached out to Jam because they're kind of hard to find. I was like, "Do you happen to have any of these like laying around?"
Yeah.
And they were like, "Yeah, we got one. I can send it to you." And it was like a few $100s cheaper than anywhere else I could find it online, and I bought
Nice.
it directly from them. So it is like a boutique thing.
Yeah.
But again, what I enjoy about them is their pedals are very simple. I mean, you've just got a level, so that's just volume. You've got gain, you've got tone, which is going to, treble bleed, whatever you want to call it, and then the clean blend.
There you go.
So they're not labeled, so you kind of got to know what they do. But then you have your gain, which is, I use this almost all the time as an always on gain.
Yeah.
And then when we need to get really heavy, it's got a high gain mode. And I can just kind of stomp that, and
Yeah.
it gets really nasty. I don't use it too often because it's like real deal nasty.
lot.
It's a lot. So I might use it like one time, kind of like towards like the last song in our set, Ard. There's a part that we come back from like a really quiet part, and we just slam into it, and we're heavy. That's the only time I'll use it. I'll just go, boom, 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 because it's just disgusting. It's gnarly. It's almost untenable for any other situation. But yeah, I think for bass, man, as a guitar player, someone who plays a lot of electric and acoustic, playing bass is like, I tried to do a less is more approach.
Yeah. Fair enough.
So I think a lot of guitarists turned bass players try to do too much, and we kind of, maybe we get bored, or we're like, I'm too talented to be playing this instrument. This instrument's too boring, and I'm so good at guitar. I should. And I think the problem is a lot of bass players, that guitarists that play bass fall into that trap of doing too much. They overplay, and so for me, I try not to. I try to take a less is more from my effects and my rig and the way I approach the songs.
Yeah.
And I think it works out pretty well.
Yeah.
So I think hopefully you'll enjoy the set and get to check out my 3 pedals.
I'm
Maybe
gonna be watching.
Yeah, you can pick them out. Yeah, man, awesome.
Sweet. Well, thanks again for the rundown. Excited to hear you guys set.
Yeah,
Nice to
dude.
meet you.
Appreciate it, man.
Yeah.